I don't want to be too loud, so I'm using the microphone. Okay, now I can't get it back on. There we go. Okay. So, Happy New Year, first of all. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year. A little late, but... so I'm home. I've been home for probably a couple weeks. Christmas was a bit of an ordeal for me. For me and my partner, actually. We were hundreds of miles apart, and we were both having drama. I mean, I was having drama from his drama. More like it. I had a great time in Oregon, and apparently he didn't, because he was robbed at gunpoint the day that I left. And they took the car, his phone, his iPad. He had his iPad in the car, which he rarely ever does, but anyway, so that's gone. Merry Christmas. So, so the guy who robbed him at gunpoint drove to Fresno and was chased by the cops. He had two other people in the car, and they forced their way into a woman's home with her children. They were arrested. A detective is going to go to court for my partner, so he doesn't have to do anything. My partner told him everything that happened. He told him, that absolutely 100% truth. He even picked him out of the lineup, and he was accurate. So since he got his car back, they're not really going to be charging the guy with Grand Theft Auto. Which I don't get, but they're getting him on the breaking and entering and basically kidnapping charges, I think. I don't know. Kidnapping because, when they you break into a person's home and you're basically holding them hostage in their own home, and there's a standoff. That's technically kidnapping. So, anyway, that's all done and over with, and see, I had made a couple videos that took about 30 minutes to explain all this, and that was only 3 minutes. So, I brought all the gifts to. Here's my train story. Forgot about that. So I'm on the train, and this woman gets a notification on her phone that the train is 2.5 hours late. And I'm thinking, we're in Sacramento. We're almost there. How can we be 2.5 hours late? But she didn't realize that the text was referring to the next train. So we get to Sacramento, and the train that we're supposed to get on to go to Oregon, which also goes to Washington, that train is two hours late. It ended up being 2.5 hours late. So when we get into the Sacramento train station, I go up to the counter and I ask them about that, and about because in the morning I have to catch a bus. So I asked them about that, and they said, well, it's about 2 hours, or you would have to wait 2 hours for the bus. So chances are you're not going to miss it, so don't worry about it. So I said, okay, fine. And then, the more time went on, the later the bus or the train was. So I did, in fact, miss my bus in the morning. But they guaranteed the bus, so... there's like a shuttle company that is next door to Amtrak, so if anybody misses their bus, their Amtrak bus, the shuttle company will drive you in a different bus. It's a shuttle company bus. So I basically got to Medford about 2 hours or 2 or 3 hours early, and my aunt. I tried calling my aunt or texting her, and I had no service, and so I tried. I just sat there and waited. I thought, okay, I'll just wait for because the bus was gonna pick me up at 3:30 to take me to Grants Pass. So I thought I'll just wait, and so all of a sudden I got a text saying that the password on the account had changed for the cell phone, and I called my partner, and the phone said that his phone has been disconnected, and I'm like, what? So I called the home number, and that's when he told me he'd been robbed. So I got in touch with my aunt, and she came and picked me up from Medford. So I was there several hours early, thank goodness. So okay, so Christmas night, we went to my cousin's house, and my hand's getting tired. We went to my cousin's house, and the kid, the baby, he's about 5 years old now. I kept calling him Bam Bam, not to his face, but I mean, all this time, all these years, I've been calling him Bam Bam because the picture that my aunt showed me, he looked like Bam Bam from the Flintstones. So I've learned his name, but I'm not going to say it because I want to keep everybody, anonymous. He opened his blanket, and he wasn't impressed at all, which I didn't think he would be. He's 5 years old, but apparently he walks around with a blanket, and it's an old, like, chewed up, torn, dirty blanket, like the Peanuts cartoon, Linus. And so I didn't even think that he might be, he might carry a blanket around, but he says to me, or when he opened the package, he goes, "Oh, it's a blanket," because they're constantly trying to give him a new blanket, and he rejects all new blankets. I didn't know that. He's playing his video game his brand new video game in his parents' bedroom on the Wii, and he's sitting there holding the controller going, bam, 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 bam. I'm just like, oh my god, this kid is saying bam, 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 like bam, bam. And I've been calling him Bam Bam for years, not having any clue that he would do the Bam Bam thing. So now, in my mind, he is Bam Bam. I'm just going to set this up. That's so much better for my hand. So now I'm going to call him Bam Bam from now on. So he says to me, I brought him his blanket that looks like my hair, but it's not. It's the picture frame. So I gave him I brought his blanket into his parents' room and put it on his head. And he says to me, it's a nice blanket, but I have my mommy blanket that I use, so I won't be using your blanket, but I'll use it in the bed. This kid is a smart ass, but he is so smart. And he just had me in stitches the whole time I was there. He just kept saying the funniest things the whole time. I don't want my microphone coming off me. Okay, so it didn't snow at all the whole time I was there. But when I left, my aunt sent me pictures in text. It had snowed after I left. So the train ride home was okay. I had to get a bus early in the morning, or in the like 11 o'clock, It's not early in the morning, but I had to take a bus from Grants Pass to Klamath Falls, and from 11 o'clock, they dropped me off in Medford at like 1 or 12, and I had to sit there until 4 o'clock for 4 hours. If I'd have done that, I would have just had my aunt take me to Medford, and at 4 o'clock, we would have had so much more time together. And then, so when we left Medford, we went, it took several hours to get to Klamath Falls, and we were there at like 7 o'clock, and the train station didn't open until 8:30, and or the Amtrak building, and because they're only open for like 2 times a day for like an hour and a half each time. So and they closed at like 10 o'clock. So we stood out there in the freezing snow. It was snowing it wasn't snowing at the time, but it had snowed in Klamath Falls. And so I'm standing out there with my Vans on, with only one pair of socks. My feet were frozen. So we were standing out there for an hour and a half waiting for them to open the doors. And then a guy, just before the train got there, I went outside, and this guy had shown up who was on the bus, and we stopped at a McDonald's, which was the last pickup, and she said, everybody, if you want to go get something from McDonald's, get a coffee or something to eat, whatever, go for it now, and if you have to go to the bathroom. So most of us got off the bus and went to the McDonald's, but nobody knew each other, so I didn't know who he was. I didn't remember what he looked like. But she said that she would be there for 20 minutes, and she left after 10 minutes. And this guy's running after the bus. He threw his coffee at the bus. He ended up having to take a $200 cab ride to Klamath Falls from that McDonald's. Oh, God. That would probably have freaked me out. But anyway, so that was my trip, and she asked me when I was going to come back, and I mean, it costs a lot of money. I'll find out how much it is now that it's no longer Christmas, but I've got to visit another aunt in Texas next. So I want to visit her again soon, but I think the best way to travel is to drive, because it literally took 24 hours to get there, and it would have only taken 8 hours in the car. So I'm going to try and talk my partner into driving me next time, and at least Flower will get out of the house, and she has a cat, but the cat hides in her bedroom anyway, so I'm sure I could hold Flower the whole time we're there. I have to hold her all the time anyway at home, so anyway. So I'm going to be making another video in a few days. I'm going to construct something to separate yarn. And there'll be more on that in a couple days. So as soon as I make the device, I will videotape it and post it. So look forward to that, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.